Hi teacher and everyone, my name is Eduardo Cárdenas. I'm 20 years old and now I'm studying a degree in mechatronic engineering. I consider that I am a fanatic of the football soccer, and yes, you know why I say that. Now I am going to do my oral exam for the year sequence of English 3. This oral exam is about a social problem and I chosen the World Cup. I chosen this event because it's the central eye of the whole world right now. Qatar. Qatar is a smart country but very rich. And in this year 2022 is the venue for the largest event on the planet. However, it has had many problems in the background. The first one is like dozens of deaths are being hidden by the FIFA. This problem is because when Qatar built its stadiums for the World Cup, uh, migrant people has been contracted due to build the stadiums, and then they died due to poor working conditions. It affects to the society because what is the message that it wants to convey for this great event? I mean that football soccer is peace, but if these acts are carried out, the main message, sorry, is dirty. It takes advantage for the employment or the poverty. For me, one way to change it is to look for a venue that doesn't directly affect to the workers who build the stadiums and the weather conditions, the climate that doesn't affect to the players. In my opinion, I I would prefer to travel to a country that isn't very hot. Many people are being affected because of the laws in Qatar. This World Cup has given many restrictions for its tourists, more for the Mexicans, such as not kissing or hugging in public, not taking picture of photos of buildings. Another example is like not wearing clothes that show shoulders or knees, etc. For me, the best way to avoid problems is to loosen these restrictions a bit, because we think most countries don't have this kind of thought, and the most illogical thing is to arrive in a country that is very hot and not be able to wear a comfortable clothes. Uh, I know that you can or you have to respect the culture of the country, but I would prefer to travel to a country that isn't so religious. Um, they could improve their ideology by thinking how they would like to be treated in a foreign country. The human rights of women have been refused by Qatar. This is one of the most striking problems of this World Cup, because the 20% of the population in this country is women, but the women don't have as many rights as men. A clear example is the use of their clothing that covers their entire body, or like the women need permission to get married. For me, the best way to fight with this problem is to learn about the rights that the society demands around the world, because today the women have the same rights as men. The LGBT community has been refused and discriminated by Qatar. Today, we live in a society that allows freedom of expression regarding genders. But Qatar denies this freedom. Many participating countries in this World Cup protested regarding by this lack of respect or freedom. An example is the gesture, like the German team. Well, for me, the best way to fight with this problem is to change your ideology right now. Why? Because we think um, if the country will be the venue for a war event, the all tourists have that freedom of expression. Or another example is like the best way to live together is by learning to be tolerant of people regardless of their beliefs. And finally, a society problems are being generated as a result of the World Cup. And this is the result of holding a World Cup in a country that has a political unrest. I think that the best way to avoid this is to choose a country that can support the geographical and cultural demands of the world. And well, in my opinion, I would rather go to the World Cup that will be held in Mexico than go to Qatar. And that is my oral exam. I think that it's very difficult to change the ideology of a religious country, but we need to think that we are living in a country, in a society, that has been changing.